All right, it's day number 8 in the month of June 2025. Good evening and welcome to Eye on Port here on Metropolitan Television. Eye on Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gwel PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to read all that happened here on the show tonight. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Eye on Port. Now we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0538 037353. 0538 037353. And when the time is ripe, and I pick signals from the production team, which will activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we will continue the show. Please stay with us.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefee. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. EFIBA is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week. And over the last week, some 6 female officials of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority graduated from a national leadership program. Details coming up shortly.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is deepening its commitment to gender inclusion and sustainable leadership development, as 6 of its management-level female staff graduated from the 7th and 8th cohorts of the Female Future Program Ghana. The graduation ceremony, which took place during the 4th Annual Leadership Conference at the Alisa Hotel in Accra, brought together key voices from across Ghana's business landscape. A total of 94 women were awarded certificates as part of this year's graduation cohorts, 54 from cohort 7 and 40 from cohort 8. GPHA's participation reflects the authority's growing investment in female leadership as a strategic pillar in its sustainability framework, particularly within the highly technical and often male-dominated maritime sector. The Female Future Program Ghana is a flagship leadership and boardroom competency initiative established by the Ghana Employers Association in 2019, with support from the Confederation of Norwegian Enterprise. It is aimed at developing the next generation of female leaders through training, mentorship, and networking platforms that empower participants to take up senior leadership and governance roles. Since its inception, FFPGH has trained 275 women across both public and private sectors. The impact has been significant. 34 graduates have been appointed to boards and national committees, while 91 have moved into higher leadership roles within their institutions. In remarks at the ceremony, speakers underscored that empowering women is not just a gender initiative, but a strategic economic imperative.
The gender leadership gap solutions being offered by the GEA through the FFP cannot be complete without the profound support of employers who have nominated and continue to nominate their female talents to participate in the programs. I would like to use this opportunity to commend all my colleagues in the employers community who have taken this step. When women lead, communities thrive and companies perform better. In fact, research shows that organizations with women in top positions can be up to 48% more profitable than those without. Indeed, such businesses are often more innovative, more resilient, and better governed. We also believe that seeing companies whose management teams and owners reflect the diversity of our own population will serve as an inspiration to the next generation, particularly girls in the next generation. At Norfund, we remain steadfast in our commitment to work alongside our investees, partners like the GEA, and all of you here today to ensure that leadership across Ghana and beyond becomes ever more inclusive, impactful, and transformative.
But what is challenging is the fact that it's only 26% of ladies who are in management positions in the public sector. And so we need, and that is why when we state that by 2030 we're going to move to 50%, we should work really well. Legislation alone will not move us to the 50%.
The FFP-GH graduation also saw renewed commitments towards advancing female leadership beyond the classroom. An alumni network established in 2021 continues to provide a platform for graduates to collaborate, advocate, and lead transformation within their workplaces.
All right, let's now turn our attention to some international port and shipping news.
Singapore-based shipping company Ocean Network Express 1 and Germany's Hamburg Port Authority have signed an agreement for future use of shore power supply for container ships. The Port of Hamburg has provided shore power for cruise and container ships since May 2024, intending to equip all container terminals with shore power supply systems by the end of 2025. Shore power facilities are already in operation at Eurogate Container Terminal Hamburg and HHLA Container Terminal Tollerot, while those at HHLA Container Terminal Budjad Kai and HHLA Container Terminal Alton Weather are currently being installed. The first practical test for the shore power facility at CTA was recently completed. Norwegian shipping player Wake Autoliners and Nordic Cycles, a compatriot company specializing in the production of sustainable solutions for the reuse and upcycling of materials from the maritime and energy sectors, have launched a national project aimed at redefining the handling of decommissioned vessels. Relying on domestic technology, labor, and industry, the two partners are to establish a circular value chain in which decommissioned ships are repurposed as certified eco-friendly building materials in Norway without melting, without export, and with up to 97% lower emissions. The endeavor, worth $128 million, is reportedly supported by a wide range of domestic public funding instruments via the Green Platform, a scheme that provides funding for the enterprise and research institutes engaging in green growth.
All right, so it's now time for the word or phrase of the day segment. And remember, the word or phrase of the day segment has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's phrase, proof of delivery.
Proof of delivery. Documentation signed by the receiver of goods to evidence the completion of the shipment of goods.
And on to the health and safety tip for the week. And today we are talking about conveyors.
Conveyors. All dangerous parts of conveyor systems should be securely guarded, and closure of such parts also prevents the ingress of dust or other materials.
All right, so we are zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at empowering the export-ready African woman in terms of financing, policy support, and trade facilitation or integration under the AfTA, that's Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And this comes on the heels of the 5th Women in Trades and Investment Conference, which was held recently here in Accra, Ghana. And so we've assembled a team to help us digest this particular topic. I would like to introduce to us viewers this evening Mr. Louis Yao-Afo. Louis Yao-Afo is no stranger to IONPORT. He's been here on several occasions, and he's the Group CEO of the APN organizations. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. To my immediate left is Dr. Gladys Nkrumah, who is the Executive Director of the Women of Africa Network, WOAN. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome, Doc.
Good evening. Thank you.
Awesome. And also to my extreme right, we have Mr. Oscar Akaba Novihoho, who is the National Coordinator of the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening.
All right.
Thank you for having me here on the first
Absolutely.
time.
We are glad to have you. We're glad to have you. All right. So I think that today the Women First rule would apply. I would want to begin with Doc and tell you to tell us about the WOAN, that's the Women of Africa Network. Tell us what exactly you do.
Thank you. Women of Africa Network is a subsidiary of APN.
Yes.
After policy network. We are a women-based organization, not-for-profit organization, and we operate in the space of AfCFTA.
Okay.
And what we do is to mobilize women in trade, empower them, and help them to improve upon their trade, and especially help them to take advantage of the AfCFTA protocols on women and youth, so that the average woman in trade can trade intra-Africa and then beyond.
Yes.
Basically, so we are focused on trade and then women empowerment in general.
Right. Okay, so recently you held the 5th Women in Trade and Investment Conference. What was it about?
So we assembled women in trade. It was open to every woman, and then most importantly, our members. And it's important to note that we are not just a Ghanaian-based organization. We are global. We have a platform that has women from all walks of life, both in Africa and the international system. And so we assembled them together, and we looked at the theme, making the 21st century woman in trade export ready. For we believe that it is about time that women are given the opportunity to expand beyond what they do, to harness the opportunities that are available as far as the AfCFTA protocols are concerned.
So to you, what were the key takeaways from this conference?
A lot. In the first place, we were able to understand the challenges that women in trade face, especially with respect to export. And it came out clearly that most of the women in trade have never exported to any other country apart from Ghana. And other women from other African countries also confirmed this fact that women in trade are unable to trade beyond their countries of origin. Another challenge is the finance issue that I think everybody knows, that it is not easy for women in trade to come by credit or finance. And so they remain small-scaled, irrespective of the number of years they've been
in the business.
In trade, yes. Another thing we also realize is that in terms of documentation, the tax regimes, and every other thing that has to do with information, registration, branding, packaging, and all that, it's a challenge to most of the women. A lot of them don't even have websites. The payment system platforms, they don't harness them for various reasons. And so all these were some of the challenges we realized that the women face, the women in trade face. And it was not someone telling their story, but it is they telling their own stories about the challenges they face. But it is also worth mentioning that the conference offered an opportunity for some of these challenges to be handled. For example, this challenge of branding, we had an expert who is part of our team to take them through hands-on tips that can help them to brand their products and package them well so that they will appeal to the international market. And so we did not just meet to listen to challenges, but we also gave hands-on training to these women. And it offered an opportunity for our partners and collaborators to also come on board and share information that are very critical to women in trade, especially if they intend to position themselves for the export market.
Right.
And so we had Ghana Standards Authority come in to take us through what women in trade need to do in terms of how they can register their products and all the regulations that are available. We also had the Association of Women in Taxation coming to give a presentation, a very detailed presentation on the tax regimes and if women intend to export, what is expected of them. And it was a very wonderful conference.
Okay, so from all you've said, it means that it was a hugely successful conference in your estimation.
Very successful. Very successful.
All right, so let me come to Mr. Yawaful and find out from you. You lead the APN, that's Africa Policy Network organizations, and I want to find out from you, what's your candid assessment of the AfTA policy, of the AfTA, the entire AfTA arrangement in terms of operationalization as of now?
Thank you. Good evening to your viewers, and
yes,
also let me extend good evening to Mr. Oscar and to Dr. Gladys.
Yes.
If you're asking about the AfTAs in terms of, I'm sure you're looking at their role with respect to women.
No, for now, you would come there, but I just want you to give us your candid assessment of where we are at the moment. Because you still find a lot of people saying we are not doing anything, like nothing is going on.
What about you?
I tend to side with, because I in fact, even though I'm not in toto in it, but I don't see a lot going on from where I sit, so I don't know.
It's difficult to have an index to really measure where AfTA is now in terms of whether it is really what is on a progressive trajectory. There is no index like that, number one. Number two, so you have to measure per the implementation protocols among the states.
Right.
And if you have the opportunity to have reports, I'm sure that when they have, I've not seen cited any report yet on how the performance of the state parties are.
Right.
But I think they use the indicators like maybe the boosting intra-African trade to really look at whether a country is performing. I can speak for my country.
Right.
Ghana, I think that for the past years, it was until 2024, I felt that we had became a bit stale.
Right.
The AfTA activities, I would say, was on quite of a pause.
Okay.
In 2024.
All right.
Because the reason being, I'm sure, money.
Okay.
That is it. Other countries like, you could see there's a lot of social rallying in Nigeria. You could also see a sort kind of real also output looking at Zambia, looking at even currently Togo, looking at Benin, Kenya. You're also looking at Tanzania. If I'm just to pick point, some of these countries, I think that some of these countries are really leading the way in certain areas.
Right.
So for me, I think that I would say overall, the AfCFTA is really targeting now the private sector bit. So that's why maybe you might not be hearing so many conferences and things. We are now dealing directly with the people.
Right.
So for me, I'll rate them, I think, I'll rate them on a whole 55%.
55.
In terms of trading, because trading actually have to focus on the volume of trade.
Right.
How many countries have exported?
Yeah.
That is how I used to rate. So
right.
If we still don't have the volumes, I cannot rate above 55%.
Yeah. Right. So what are you saying? When you talk about money, issue of money, who's supposed to inject the money into the system?
You see, I was earlier on mentioning the fact that you have to have indicators that show that this is an AfTA country performing.
Yes.
And one of the key things is trade finance.
Absolutely. Okay.
If the state parties don't take trade finance serious, there is no way this program will be successful. Because 90% of whatever is supposed to be done, it really coils around finance.
Yes.
And trade finance, it should go beyond this wishy-washy kind of policies. It should be something pragmatic where you have to put inside your budget that I'm developing 1% to finance after activities, or I'm developing a certain percentage from the budget to really finance. I recall, I think the last tenure of the former finance minister, there was a budget that was read, and they said they were going to target about 300 companies to really grow them. That was a target. So you have to be very intentional about the percentage you are really either, it can be after levy.
Right.
That is where you'll be serious.
Right.
Or the financial institutions that are taxed to really finance AfCFTA should also have a certain component or a certain portfolio to finance. For example, if you take a Ghana Exim Bank, that is why they are supposed to be there. They're supposed to finance export and import.
Right.
So what percentage are they using to finance after activities? Then if you look on the regional level, the presidents or the AU or the African Union have taxed Afri-Exim Bank to finance export and import. We have to ask ourselves, what percentage is being used for after activities? Yes, they are doing well because they organize a lot of programs. Beyond the programs, how many companies can boast that, in fact, they were coming out of this program called the Adjustment Facility Fund, which is supposed to finance practically the countries because of the some of those who are losing because of the free trade in terms of the tariff regimes.
Yes.
Then the other part of the component of the adjustment fund is supposed to help private sector. The question is, how would that money reach the private sector?
Yes.
They also went for a certain facility, whether they had it, called the automobile, about $1 billion to empower or to support the automobile industry in Africa.
Yeah.
So if you are an African and you have a very good automotive or automobile plan or initiative or project, you submit your proposal for support.
Right.
How far has that gone? So finance this is the way I would like to really take our attention on how finance play when we come to AfCFTA.
All right.
Again, the banks, finally, the commercial banks, they are there for profit.
Right.
But I'm happy these days, in Ghana, I can say that the Bank of Ghana has recommended that every bank has an after desk.
Right. Okay.
Every bank is supposed to have an after desk. If private sector is encouraged to have an after desk, what about the public sector?
Yeah.
Because I recall during the former governments, the president initiated an interministerial committee. That was how come after it became very, very vibrant in Ghana. They set up interministerial committee. So all the ministries, certain ministries were really joined or integrated to focus on the implementation of AfCFTA, including the Ministry of Finance.
Yes. Right. So let's zoom in into women. I'll be coming to you, Mr. Akaba, but let's zoom into women and take a look at what AfTA is doing, so to speak, to ensure women's full inclusion in continental trade protocols.
So women, I remember that at the last draft of, before the protocol on women and youth was adopted.
Right.
You always have to have a draft. So there was a consultative meeting that we had to validate the draft. They have to consult to find out what is your final view. We are now going to adopt it. It's going to be adopted at the AU level. But before, what are some of the technical? I recall I made one. If I should read, permit me to read some of the preambles.
Yes.
It says, very, very important. Now it says, specific provisions of the protocol. It says, access to finance, information, and capacity building. Now, so when we met, I said that this preamble is not really watertight. Because you say two. You must make it an enshrined position. Say that every state party is supposed to commit a percentage or 2% or instruct that financial institutions are committed to finance women.
Yes.
But if you put it there that state parties are mandated to create, it's the same policy kind of level, the same wishy.
Right.
But if you make it an enshrined clause that all financial institutions, all financial support institutions who are within state parties must ensure maybe 2% or 3% of this financial support goes for women and youth in trade.
Right.
This is what AfCFTA should do. So I
Right.
made a point. I don't know whether the final one that came, but I've not seen it anyway. And then I also looked at the fact that in the area of, if you connect it to Ghana here, the affirmative action law.
Yeah.
Or the affirmative action law. I've gone through it.
Right.
But I must say, I have not seen a serious watertight financial empowerment in that act, because it looked at so much of the social side, where women, gender equality, that's fine. But you see, any democratic dispensation that does not have the good standard of living of the people is not fully defined.
Right.
Meaning that, yes, the democratic credentials, we see, okay, involvement in elections, going to parliament, all those things are important. But the woman, the current day woman or an independent woman need to be financially sustainable.
Right.
And whichever angle they have to be financially sustainable, whether they're coming through the doors of entrepreneurship, coming through the doors of whatever it is, they must have a certain financial sustainability. I've not seen that in affirmative action law.
Right.
And maybe I will call for an early amendment, if there should be something like that, to amend it,
Right.
to really look at it holistically.
All right, so let me come to Mr. Noviohoho and find out from you what your organization is all about. That's the, Women in Africa. No, that's the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association. What do you do?
Thank you very much. First of all, the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association
Yes.
has 3 key objectives.
Okay.
First of all, it's about crossing international borders. So within the ECOWAS region, we fall within the ECOWAS Protocol of Movement. That is the grand policy.
Right.
Now, within the AfCFTA aspect also, the AfCFTA policy on movement, it's also the mandate, the policy under which we go under.
Right.
So in dealing with that, no exports or trading would go without the human being himself.
Right.
Either the trader herself or the driver or the messenger would have to go either to inspect the goods, either to bring the goods or others. So it means you need physical presence of some of these women. Now, the association, like I said, 3 main objectives. I've just spoken about one,
Yes.
which is the movement.
Yes.
And every border has rules and regulations.
Right.
Because, one, security issues and others. That is why when you look at the ECOWAS protocol, it brings down on what immigrations and all those things are supposed to be.
Right.
Then the key question is, who is a trader? Who is a woman trader? You need to first of all understand who is a woman trader to be able to fit into that policy.
Right.
If we are not able to do that, then we are missing. And this is what the cross-border women traders are doing.
Right.
You can have a woman trading from Kumasi to Accra. She's not crossing any international border.
Right.
She's not crossing any border, so she doesn't have any challenge. But as soon as she's crossing from Ghana to Togo, or Ghana to Burkina, or Ghana to Kenya,
Even
or
Nigeria,
Ghana to somewhere, or to Nigeria, then meaning he has to go by the rules.
Right.
So first of all, we look at movement. Then 2, the issue of customs,
Yes.
the issue of tariffs and non-tariff issues. Because when it comes to trading, we are talking about export.
Yes.
When it comes to exporting, there are rules and regulations that guide that industry also. What are the rules? How are the policy made? Is it helping the women? Is it helping us?
Right.
We are the revenue generators for this country. We pay the import duties. We pay all of this.
Right.
At the end of the day, it comes to our home. Okay? So how do we apply? How do we go by the rules? What is rules of origin? what is the custom procedures, what is the taxation issues. All this comes into that basket.
Right.
So we looked at the second objective, which is the custom rules, the issues about tariff and non-tariff, and what are the issues to look at. The non-tariff barriers are, to be frank, are very enormous.
Yes.
And these are the things a lot of people are not seeing. There are a lot of narrative out there, harassment and co. But on the ground, if you look at it critically, you need to understand what it means. Now, with that second objective, we need to also understand in context what are key agencies' role in that objective.
Okay.
If we understand that objective, then we are able to, and this is what Cross Border Women is doing, to partner with agencies and development partners to see how best the woman inclusion in implementing these policies to be able to help the woman trade freely.
Yeah.
Because if these are not done well, if our input is not put there, we are not able to go. Do you understand? For example, you are going to cross. They say you should present your Ghana card or your passport. You go there and there is a challenge. How would you solve it? Now you have crossed another country to another person's land.
Yes.
We do facilitate those ones. Who will facilitate it for you? Most of our embassies, they have trade desk and all. Are they functioning enough? Right. Are they looking at, what are they doing? How are they supporting our traders and co? And to be frank, we are coming up strongly with a whole lot of issues. Now, on the third objectives, what our association is doing comes with the financing.
Right.
Because no trading goes without finance. You need more capital. But the point is that, do you know who you are giving the money to? Even if you know who you are giving the money to, have you removed the barriers on the way that would impede her from losing that kind of money? Because trading is not a joke. You understand? Trade financing is not an issue about just giving money to the person. Mostly it's not even about the money. Sometimes the women, one of my, let me greet my national president, Rose Lucky Hanoji. They are all watching all over the world, Kenya and Benin and all of this. Yeah. We are a network of cross-border women.
Okay.
Now, with the issue of trade financing, we need the money. But you need to, first of all, understand the two objectives, how it will help us manage your money that you are giving us to trade.
Right.
So if you don't know us, you don't understand us, and agree to these three objectives, then possibly you'll be going round and round like the policy analyst is saying, that is kind of a trend.
Right.
So the whole issue is that, one, the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association, facilitates movement of its members across the borders. What we do is, before you become a member, you should first of all prove to us that you are a trader.
Right.
From a certain market.
Okay.
The market would guarantee, endorse you for us to know that, yes, possibly you are from Agbogboshi.
Right.
You are selling onion. Now, cross-border women traders also are in two categories.
Okay.
One is the border resident, which is the 7-kilometer radius.
Right. That was going to be my next question, but
yes, because first of all, the law governing border resident is key. The narrative about smuggling and border people help people to smuggle and all those things. In Kenya, they apply the rules of the border residents.
Right.
Now, border residents have certain exemptions and amenities that they enjoy as border residents. And non-border residents, let me give you an example. Port Health. You are within 7 kilometers of the border. You are not mandated to hold a yellow card before you cross the border. Because the law within that area, the 7 kilometers of that permits you. And also, an example in East Africa, there is even a rule and a threshold of certain quantity of goods that border residents can enjoy. which would not be import duty or taxed. Do you understand?
Right.
Now, from the border resident, you now come to the non-border resident woman trader.
Right.
She's either coming from after Elubo, or she's coming from Akachi, or she's coming from Agbozume, because it's out of the 7-kilometer radius.
Right.
So she also needs to be treated differently. You understand? Or she's coming from Accra.
Right.
She moves from Accra to Togo to go and buy.
Yeah.
If she's going, she's mandated to go through certain rules and regulations. She's supposed to comply with certain rules and regulations. If we don't understand this, and this is what we are doing, building the capacity for our women, letting them understand these are the rules, and supporting them in trying to overcome these hurdles and challenges.
Yes.
The extortions nowadays is the issue of the national security, which we are dealing with. We have written to the necessary authorities to see what we can do, come to the round table, and let's discuss this. I think sometimes we are missing the point that we need to come together at a round table,
right,
bring the right people to the table, and discuss the issue and find a solution. But if we are always, the narrative is this, and we are always going around it, we won't solve the problem.
Right.
To the export market, we have rules and regulations. My big sister was talking about branding, all of those, and co.
Yes.
They are key important things the women need to know. But some of our women, they even know more than that. But when we bring them to the table, they can tell us more if we identify them well and bring them to the table.
Right.
Madam Kluche, she imports rice from Nigeria. She has been doing that trade for the past 45 years.
Wow.
The national president has been trading across the borders from Nigeria to Elubo, the Abidjan-Lagos corridor. There is no route. There is nothing you cannot tell her about that route that she won't tell you.
Yes.
But until you get closer, this, and they see the challenges, and trying to solve the challenges, they will tell you, no, go this way, go that way. Who is a more security to a border post than the women?
Yeah.
Because when there is an alien, they know first.
Yeah.
They can even determine and help the security person and say, no, this person is not among us. You get the issue. So for me, empowering the export-ready market, like my senior brother is saying, AfCFTA and ECOWAS, the ETLS and all of these things, the policies are well written there.
Yes.
But the implementation aspects of all those policies needs a proper coordination for us to achieve it, especially for the cross-border woman who is at the land borders.
Yes.
At the land borders. Maybe the concentration is much on the shipping, the ones that are coming from the seaport.
Right.
Unfortunately, there is much going. If indeed we want to promote African trade and want to promote our trade within the region,
yes,
first of all, let's concentrate on the ECOWAS sub-region.
Right.
The kind of trade that is going around our area, we need to do much more.
Absolutely.
Even if it's the sea ports we want to use.
Yes.
Do we have a vessel that moves from Ghana straight to, let's say, Togo?
No.
It has to go maybe somewhere.
Yeah, before it
gets back route to, and it is costing my traders. It is costing my women.
Yeah.
From Aflau to Accra, if you look at the transport, the freight costs,
yes,
and these are the things that are creating the problem.
Absolutely.
So we as an association, we said no. We have to sit down, put ourselves together, get professionals on board.
Yes.
People like Paulina Abrakwa, people like Mrs. Rebecca Giogbe Amuzu, Ibanka, Paulina as an expert and co, and all others. We came together and said, let's do this. Let's see how best we can help, because we were all traders.
Right.
we were all at the grassroots. We understand how the dynamics are. Me, I'm a border boy.
Okay.
So there is nothing you can tell me at the border and I won't know.
Right.
You understand? So for me to empower that woman in the export industry, we first of all have to look at giving her that identification to be able to move across the borders.
Right.
So in our association, this is what we have done. With other agencies and association regulators,
yes,
we have come up with what we call the Cross-Border Women Traders Card.
Okay.
It's an initiative we have put in place. We are gradually, we've spoken to ECOWAS. They said, yeah, Oscar, you have to do it. Start the pilot.
So we're coming to your collaboration with ECOWAS and all that.
Okay.
We'll come in there. Yes. All right, so let me come to Doc and find out from you what the Women of Africa Network is doing to support women entrepreneurs in terms of getting them to meet international standards, as in packaging, as in certification, as in licensing, and so on.
So what we do includes, for example, the conference we had.
Yes.
So we aggregate them, and then we bring experts to speak to issues that will empower them.
Right.
At our just ended conference, we were privileged to be partnered by EcoBank.
Right.
EcoBank has a platform, Elevate, that supports women financially and other services that are non-financial. And what Elevate represents align with what one seeks to give to women.
Right.
And so we create that platform and we bring experts on board to give them the requisite training that they need to be able to meet all expectations when they are ready to launch into the export market.
Yes.
Because we believe that it is not enough for the woman in trade to concentrate on at the micro level and not scale up. It defeats the purpose of AfCFTA and then the protocol for women and youth.
Right.
What we do again is to hold webinars. The conference is just one of the things we do. We hold webinars and still train our women, empower them. We give them the shoulders to ride on because it is impossible for one individual to scale up all these obstacles and be ready for the export market. But if you have an association like one, you can ride on our shoulders and get there.
Right.
Basically, we create that platform for them. And also, one has a bank, if I can use that, of expertise. As far as human resources are concerned, there are so many experts who are one members. We have lawyers, we have people who are in the export regime, we have bankers, we have people in academia, we have researchers, we have all these people. So they have experience that are available for our women to tap into. And so there is mentorship available for women to harness these things and then take advantage of. Now, let me also add that it's not every member of one who is into trade.
Okay.
So this is an opportunity for people to also give back to society to build our women up. So in the area of research, one has a directorate for women research.
Yes.
So everything we do is research-led, so that we will speak to the issues that need attention and not just anything.
Right.
So one is there for people who want to give back, like people in academia, people in the legal, people in legal practice, researchers, HR practitioners, human resource developers, and every other area, journalists, people in language. We have one organization that we've signed an MOU with.
Okay.
They translate language into other languages in the sub-region and internationally for packaging.
Right.
That is, if you want to export to, say, Togo, it has to be written in French. And we have an organization that does that.
Okay.
And they are part of one.
Wow.
So we are diverse, and we are there to help.
Awesome. Let me come to Mr. Yawaful and find out from you whether there are existing policy frameworks that can be optimized to address the structural challenges that women traders face.
Thank you very much. Let me go back a bit. You see, when you look at international trade,
yes,
basically the AFTAs, the ECOWAS, and all those things, those are regional trade blocs,
right?
Kind of. But the AfCFTA became more like an agreement for the continental,
right?
And so most countries, before they came out with their trade policies, they had to wait to look at how the continental agreement would be before they ratified. The same applies to the investment, Ghana investment. We don't have a law yet. And GIPC had waited for the investment protocol on AfCFTA to be ready so that you can look at how you input.
Right.
Now, the cross-border trade, whenever you talk about cross-border trade, you are talking about any country, any trade where it goes beyond your border.
Right.
But we have what we call the informal border trade. And in Africa, informal border trade is very high.
Yes. It's
informal
huge.
border trade is huge because it really looks at the immediate neighboring countries, neighboring markets close to you. One of the things that we have to look at is that even before AfCFTA came, what has been our trade policy towards them?
Right.
Because for them, what they know is that I'm taking my product here, I'm taking my product there. When you begin to tag them as informal, what you are trying to say, in effect, is that they are not going through the formal system.
Yeah.
And one of the formal system is, you are talking about, you talk about registered company. You are talking about they going through the, in terms of customs.
Yeah.
But you take the money from them. When they go cross-border, you take the money from them.
Yeah.
They pay. So what has been our response to this multitude or this high percentage of people we call informal sector?
Right.
Because if we say they are informal sector, and by classification, the definition are giving you, then we are not doing ourselves good. Because they form the chunk of these serious trade.
Right.
Yet, we have not made the effort to formalize them by giving them the support. Because if you say they're informal, then you don't have to take them the money from them when they are bringing their goods here.
Right.
Because they are not informal.
They are not recognized.
But that is not it. And so, most ministries of trade have really not really built their trade classifications. They've not built it well. Secondly, you see, I talked about trade finance because you have to have a structured trade finance. When you have a structured trade finance, like Oscar was saying, it's not just about giving the money to the people. It is, when we talk about export readiness for trade finance, we are looking at the value chain of the export. I might not be the final exporter. Dr. Gladys might not be the final. She might be the one who goes for it from the source.
Yeah.
Mr. Oscar will be the one who might be the final exporter. All these people are part of the export chain.
Right.
And so when you're having a financial structure, it must meet all of them at every point. This is one of the things we have to build when you're looking at the informal sector, we always call informal sector. So if you look at the AfCFTA very critically, now they are coming up with what they call the after trading companies. You, for once, just take the name of after. They are kind of what we call the after trading companies, whereby they feel that, look, there are a lot of aggregators in certain sectors, in certain products. you have tomato sellers, you have ginger people, commodity traders. So after I said, now look, why don't we let these companies be together, have a common bargain when it comes to price margins?
Right.
So for example, we are Tomato Association. We are the cross-border, or we are inside. We are formalized. Okay, we are, what do you call it, batteries, or we are the ceramics.
Yeah.
Let us come together, and then after we enable you with a targeted market.
Right.
Because as it is now, I would not know someone who is at cross-border, who we think is informal. How would he know which market needs my product? But
That's
if
true.
they are classified in that policy where they are a trading company via the associations, like for example, if you take Mr. Oscar's association, you might have companies that are into maybe ginger or into carrots or into shoes. When those companies, and then you have others maybe around Cote d'Ivoire, around Burkina Faso. So after it's looking at a system where all these ones can be put together,
Right.
and then we look at maybe when we put these together, is there a market in East Africa ready for this? Then they develop a program, a concept where at the end of the day, there will be that. That is what birthed the Guided Trade Initiative.
Yes.
So therefore, the market is like a kind of provoke the market. So they quickly export that. There was a challenge Mr. Oscar was talking about, and that has to do with the trade facilitation.
Right.
And as I indicated earlier, these are part of the indicators that shows that a country is really performing well after. Trade facilitation is very, very important. How is the goods moving?
Yeah.
With the person who has created the product. So my capital is moving. How am I moving? And Oscar talked about the movement. You know, we have the because can be it. These movements, free movement of people, was what birthed ECOWAS.
Yes.
After was birthed based upon ECOWAS and build up. So that we are saying that the goods must go with the person.
Right.
So free movement of goods. So therefore, what we are saying is that at the end of the day, trade facilitation, very, very important. The port, is there enough capacity? Apart from it, the roads, are they good for? And so that is how come we heard of this the Lagos-Abidjan corridor, which is a very, very good initiative. Apart from that, rail, I keep saying it, rail is one of the good things if these countries, including Ghana, we take it very, very serious. All the containers don't have to even use the road. We can have the German system, have the China system. Right? That was Nkrumah's vision. So you have the containers move all up from the port to a very close destination where now the road side takes over. Then the maritime side. So if you look at somebody like companies like Markdan, who signed an MOU with the AfCFTA Secretariat to transport only after goods.
Right.
To transport only after goods. Apart from him, which other company says I have vessel?
Right.
So trade facilitation is very, very important, especially for cross-border trade.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it builds from there.
Right.
Because those are the cross-border, knows the scattered, or what we call it, the fragmented market within a country.
Right.
This is very, very key. And another last point I'll make with regard to the policy has to do with that. Let's take Ghana, for example. Our free zones and special economic zones and the free zones, these trade policy initiatives can also boost women in trade, especially those at the cross-border, especially those for export. Dr. Gladys talked about a survey that was done about last year and last 2 years where it was so terrible. 92% of women had not exported before.
Right.
Not that they've not traded. The issue here is export.
Exports,
And that due to what reason? Because sometimes somebody might have the product and all those, but in terms of the facilitation.
Right.
So I think that the policies should be harnessed, the policies should be integrated, and the policies should be well understood.
Right. Awesome. All right, so I'll come to you when we go for this break and come. This is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at how to empower the export-ready African woman in terms of financing, in terms of policy support, and trade integration under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. With us in the studios tonight, Mr. Oscar Akaba Novihoho, who is the national coordinator of the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association. We also have in the studios Mr. Louis Yao-Afo, who is the Group CEO of the AfTA Policy Network Organizations, and indeed Dr. Gladys Nkrumah, who is the Executive Director of the Women of Africa Network 1. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 0246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. EFIBA is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
All right, this is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at how to empower our export-ready African women in terms of financing, in terms of trade policy support, and indeed in terms of trade integration under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And we have three guests in the studios tonight. Mr. Louis Awaful is the Group CEO for APN Organizations. We have Dr. Gladys Nkrumah, who is the Executive Director of Women of Africa Network 1, and indeed Mr. Oscar Akaba Novihoho, who is the National Coordinator of the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association. And I said I was going to come to you, but let me announce that I've been told by the production team that the phone lines are activated, and so you can call in and contribute to the discussion. The number to call or to dial is right here on your screen, 0245-834980, 0245-834980. I said I was going to come to you, Mr. Noviho, and find out from you how your organization is working with organizations like the ECOWAS, as it were, to implement simplified trade regimes that eases the burden of, the informal cross-border traders, especially women.
Yeah, thank you very much. The ECOWAS, AfCFTA, and especially I want to thank Trademark Africa for the good work they are doing with our association. And African Trade Academy. Hey, Reverend, yes. You see?
Oh, that's Dodisedu?
Yes, Dodisedu.
Okay, all right,
yes.
sure, yeah. Okay.
And you see, when we started this, it was an idea where ECOWAS took me to Kenya.
Right.
To go and have a look at something. And the Kenya model, when we looked at it, we said, no, we have to come back, and there is a lot to do.
Right.
So in terms of the ECOWAS protocol and co, they are collaborating with us, trying to help us build capacity, trying to let us understand the policy, the protocols, and co. For example, like I said, with the free movement protocol.
With the free movement protocol. Hold it there.
When
we return, you continue with the free movement protocol. Let's go on to the phone line and welcome Mercy onto the show. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Awesome. Please go ahead.
Please, Mercy.
Yes.
One of your women entrepreneurs.
Okay. Great.
And I've been a business for over 6 years now. Please, I would like to know how best can you help me export my produce? To the settings actually. How best can you help me to export the outside world, outside market?
Okay, so I would get the production team to give doctor's number to you, and then you can reach out to doctor, and then you take it out from there. Where are you? You are in New Legon. I can see that's your location.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the production team would don't go off the line. They'll talk to you, and then give you a number to call so that later they can help you, link you up. Okay.
Yes, please.
All right, Mercy. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. All right. So you can also call the line. That's right there on your screen, 0245834980. Yes, Mr. Noviho.
So you see, ECOWAS is also helping us to redefine what people think is our market. Okay? The African market, it's a market which is different from the European market. Along our corridor, there is a unique way our market structures are like. But when you try to bring formalize some theory from somewhere and impose, that is where it is not working. But now, ECOWAS is like, thanks to Aishata ECOWAS, the head of director of free movement and co.
Yes.
We are gradually working towards how to earmark and identify the markets.
Right.
Okay. Now, with the issue of the free movement, that is where we came up with the initiative of the cross-border women traders card. First of all, we need to know who really is the woman trader.
Yes.
Because the kind of market we have, the woman who wants to go to that market, she's not looking at sitting at home and says, just like maybe it's in the European market, they carry their goods, and maybe it's in the supermarket, it's going to buy. That is not our African market structure.
Right.
Our African market structure says a woman from Kumasi will want to go to Tulome, go and buy the things, possibly in small quantity, small scale. Bring it, moving for a period of time before he start ordering in tracks.
Right.
You understand? The small entrepreneur moves slows bit by bit. So his movement needs to be worked on.
Okay.
So, and crossing border is a challenge.
Right.
That is why we came up with the crossing card,
Right.
which facilitates their movement.
Okay.
Now, apart from facilitate their movement, the issue of the duties, the duties they are supposed to pay, the tariffs, the valuations and the pricing and all those things are the second aspect we are also doing, which my brother Divine at AfTAC,
Right.
we are actually working on the park and see where can we fix it, so that our women understand. For example, Mr. Dedu Sedu, we did some research. I think next 2 weeks we'll be going to the ground to educate women on their rights and responsibilities, what they are supposed to do at the border. If you are going, this is what you are supposed to do.
Right.
And Madam talked about translation. We have, we had a plan. Every border there is going to be a representative of these women in their uniform.
Right.
If you have a challenge, you quickly go. I think GEPA was also supporting us with UNDP to get information desk
Right.
at the border entry point. The woman comes, he has a challenge, he can quickly move to the office, present his card, and we are able to work on. Now, the challenge we are having now is that getting these women, we need a big database.
Right.
E-database, so that even if you are in Kenya, you are a Ghanaian and you have moved to Kenya to go and buy something, with your card, you are able to key, access, this and this. Even your bankers and co should be able to know that, you are here and you are trading and you are doing such things.
Right.
This is where the challenge is now for the small-scale cross-border women trader.
Right.
So our association is doing that, building capacity, trying to bring the women on board, trying to do training with other partners, like I said already, African Trade Academy, Trademark Africa in particular.
Yeah.
It's trying to do a lot.
Okay.
Now, when you look at the ECOWAS protocols, they say, to be frank, the policies are there. They've drafted them. They are there. They are good.
Right.
But the implementation aspect of
problem.
it is a problem.
Okay. All right. So our time is ticking very fast, and I want us to do some few messages, and then we'll come. This one says, good evening, I'm Paul. This is from Ohima, our regular texter and viewer. She says, insightful discussion. We've got quite a long way to go as a country. Kudos to both organizations on your panel, the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association and APN Women of Africa Network. That's one, for the great work. Special greetings to Oscar and Louis. This one is from Pauline Abrokwa.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
That's our head of exports.
Okay, head of export at your organization.
Yes.
Okay, wow, I see.
She's very
Awesome.
She travels all the borders.
I didn't know she wears that hat too. All right, this one is from Abinat Mansa in Takoradi. She says, I didn't know there were simplified ECOWAS regimes for informal traders. Please let the guests explain how we can access those benefits practically, especially from women traders who can't read English or French.
Can I go with that?
Okay, so you will come in, but Ohima, I think she has followed through with the call. Let's pick and then we'll come so that you can explain. Good evening, Ohima.
Good evening, Ken, and good evening to your panelists. They are all my men, Oscar and then Mr. Alfo.
Right.
They are really doing a good job.
Good to have
you. Being in trade as a woman is very, very difficult because trade itself is quite dynamic. Commenting on cross-border trade, if Africa had paid attention to its cross-border trade, let's say AFLAO, and then let's say the Togo side, if we pay attention to it, we would have done a long way with this AfTA. Because the AfTA says that the regional economic communities like ECOWAS, like EAC, they are the building blocks of the AfTA.
Yeah.
But we don't really pay attention. If you go to the borders, we don't have a lot of border-friendly infrastructure, especially for women.
Right.
No washrooms, and people have to spend long times on the road. Women have to spend like 2 days, a day on the road, and then you get to the border, there's no infrastructure. Even where some of our members, cross-border women traders, sell, serving the customs and all, they don't even have a good place to sell if you go to Akano and all that. So these are things that we have to look at it.
Absolutely.
For our women, so that they make trade friendly. Aside the fact that the funds and everything, those who are crossing, it is quite risky. Okay.
Absolutely.
And then that will be the call that, most of the approved borders, or what we call unapproved borders, initially they were bushes. But now they are now towns, like it's somebody's backyard, where you can even just walk a short way and you are into the next country.
Yeah.
But because of the name we have tagged as unapproved, it is making those places. So if you are passing, there's like you are passing an unapproved route, which ordinarily is a shorter route.
Yeah.
So we are pleading with Ghana and with immigration that if we can vary the law or amend the law, so that some of these unapproved places becomes approved, it will help. And then also the border infrastructure. If you should put infrastructure, that will help.
Yeah.
Making searches or crossing very easy.
Right.
So that instead of intrusive kind of search, we can have a system like we have at the airport where your goods, you just put it on it and then it scans. And with the harassment and everything, it is quite serious. And then finally, we also have to look at our neighbor, the neighbor's side. Because for the cross-border women trader, they have one side, the Ghana side to deal with, and then the other side to deal with. And sometimes maybe Ghana side could be okay, but the other side, there's like the policies are not hitting the ground. The main, especially at the Togo side and all, there's a lot of frustration. So these are some of the calls that, in addition to the financing, the capacity building, if these things are put in place, it will go a long way. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Pauline. We're grateful to you for calling in.
You see why I said I'm comfortable, because when I have strong team around me.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
One amendment of the law
is
key. Now, even I think National Security even came the last time and said, you see, from Aflau, the beats.
Yeah.
Ghana, Togo side, they've constructed the road from the Aflau, the seaside, straight to the last end.
Right.
But Ghana, no.
Okay.
So access is becoming a challenge. Now that place is developed.
Yes.
Now it's not more trouble.
Right.
And a whole lot of things are happening to our women there.
Right. Our time is running out. So you wanted to make a point.
The simplified declaration.
Yes.
Yes, the simplified declaration is helping our women.
Right.
Now, when you get to the border, if your goods are $3,000 and below, you apply for the simplified. When you go to the yard, you apply for the simplified declaration. Customs will work at it for you.
Right.
We have some of our officers, our members who are there, who can also assist you. All you need to do is to have your membership card and your Ghana card. Then they can work on it for you. Now, to become a member, it's just for you to get your Ghana card and make sure a guarantor where the market in which you are, you need to be. We need to have
confidence,
confidence and assurance that yes, you are because we are dealing with international trade.
Yes.
We are crossing borders.
Yes.
So this is what we are looking at. Okay. Yeah. So the simplified is working.
What I wanted to say is that you see, trade is always metamorphosing. We always have to look at our models.
Yes.
Beyond, you see, what AfCFTA want to do is that it's building upon fragmented markets.
Right.
What I've done over the years is we built what we call Africa Business Export Club.
Right.
Suppose about 100 companies across Africa.
Right.
What I realized was that we don't have, these traders don't have, or exporters don't have helpers.
Right.
So we act as intermediary. So what we do at Africa Business Export is that people who really want to trade, like I said earlier, you don't need to be the final exporter. This is where we are heading towards as traders. You can be someone with the decision, a thought, Then we take you through the value chain. Right. Somebody might need, so what we provide is that we provide standardization certification.
Right.
Somebody might have to register a company. We help you to register it. You want the resources. We help you to get the resources.
Right.
You want the market, which is very, very key. We connect you to the market accessibility.
Right.
That's what we do at Africa Businesses, because we realize that the Secretariat, there's a gap between the Secretariat, the Ministry of Trade, and the people on the ground.
Right.
And one of the key things that you see, the issue about export is not just about, it's holistic. You have to look at the fact that Africa is moving away from the raw export to value addition.
Yeah, sure.
And the value addition is also based upon comparative advantage. So you don't necessarily have to have that. Mind you, we are always dwelling on the goose. We also have to look at the services. AfCFTA is pushing a lot. And so if you come to APM, for example, we have devised several services approach where, for example, you forget about the hair clinic people. The hairdressers, you call the hairdressers. That is a service. Which is very, very important he can export.
Okay. All right, so let's take our last caller. In fact, we have barely 2 minutes to wrap up, but Obed is calling us from Winnipeg, so we'll do him the honors. Obed, good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Please, I know you are discussing about exports and it's, like exports in general.
Yes.
But please, I'm begging you, just allow me to talk about sanitation issues in Ghana. Please, just small, like something small. I'm begging you.
I shall allow him to talk about what?
Sanitation.
Sanitation
in Ghana is getting out of hand. Please.
Sanitation.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay. I think that this is not what we are discussing tonight. Let me take a few more messages and then we wrap up because we have barely a minute to go. This one says, thanks to it's from Linda in Ho. She says, thanks to Mr. Akaba for speaking for us. If the banks can work with groups like the Cross-Border Women Traders Association, more of us will, many of us will be encouraged to borrow and grow. Richard in Tema says, can EcoBank and other banks develop micro products tailored for women who trade across borders in small quantities? Many of them don't have collateral, but they are reliable. And this one is from Akos in Kumasi. She says, Dr. Nkrumah's point on rural women needing packaging support is on point. We grow the ginger and share, but can't export because we don't know the standards. Well, so they say you've done very well. I can see some of you are still calling this particular line. It's not for the calls, and unfortunately, we cannot pick any other call for now. Maybe I'll just give Dr. Nkrumah the last laugh. Please, your last words, and then we wrap up because time is not on our side. We have barely 30 seconds to wrap up.
So let me respond to the message someone sent about collateral-free loan.
Yes.
Our partnership with EcoBank involves EcoBank giving our women collateral-free loans.
Yes.
And that we can assure you that once you are on our platform, you can get collateral-free loans. What I want to say is that one is going to embark on rural entrepreneurship. Right. That is formalization of businesses. We believe that every information that we have, the people in the marketplaces and villages are also supposed to get this information.
Right.
So get ready for us. We'll be coming to you to help you formalize your trade and get to the next level. And I want to say that one is open to all, so everybody is welcome.
Awesome. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Gladys Nkrumah, Executive Director, Women of Africa Network 1. She has been in the studios with us. We also say a big thanks to Mr. Louis Yao-Afo, Group CEO, Africa Policy Network, After Policy Network Organizations. He's also here. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for obliging us. And last but not the least, Mr. Oscar Akaba Novihoho, who is the National Coordinator of the National Cross-Border Women Traders Association.
I want to say a happy birthday to my professor, my lecturer at Winneba. Today is his birthday.
Okay.
He was a former Pro-Vice Chancellor of Winneba.
Okay.
We call him Chief Oppressor.
Okay.
And then all my cross-border women traders.
What's the professor's name?
Professor Andy.
Okay,
yes,
Professor
so
Andy.
Prof.
All right, Prof. All right. Thank you, Prof. Happy birthday to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. for obliging us. We know when we call on you and there's a need for us to have a discussion, you would always oblige us. We say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. We would entreat you to watch the abridged version of Eye on Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television, that's GTV. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Eye on Port. Until then, we entreat you to keep on keeping on, and we wish you a super week ahead, and we entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. Thank you, and have a blessed evening.